Hi, I am going to show you how to use the Vlookup function in Excel. And the Vlookup function is widely used by a lot of people for many different reasons. And we're going to start with a very simple example of how to use the Vlookup function in Excel. And it is used to pretty much combine two reports or pull data from multiple reports and all together into one without having to manually doing this. And I will show you how easy it is to do this. So this is report one and this is report two. Report one is budgeted expenses, and this was done January of 2017. So we're doing this to pretty much see, create a budget of how much we expect to expense in 2017 for all our stores. And then at the end of 2017, we came up with an actual expenses. And what we want to do now is create a report that measures the difference between budgeted and actual, and so that we can get our variance. And then so we can prepare for this year, and then so on and so on. So just to show you, these are the stores, and store numbers on the left, budget is on the right, and I am going to make this more. I'm going to add data pretty much to this so that it can be, so you can understand how much of a time saver the VLOOKUP function is in your Excel life. So I'm going to have a total of 20 stores, and I am just going to copy this again so that you can see how much of a time saver this will be. Okay, so we are going to go to our master report, and this is where we want to pull the data from the budget, and then a column to pull the data from our actual expenses. And then we will do a formula to get the difference. And to start the VLOOKUP function, you always use equals, and then you start typing VLOOKUP. So a time saver, which when you start using many formulas, will be as soon as you start typing, it'll highlight a function. Sometimes it'll be, there will be different options, and you can just scroll down and then select the option. How to properly select the option is using the tab. So once it highlights the one you want to use, choose tab, and then you don't have to finish typing it, and that'll set up your formula. So the lookup value is what we want to use first. So this is the common value that has in all three spreadsheets. So here we already have our store numbers, and in the budget it uses store numbers, and in expenses it uses store numbers. So I am going to use the store number as my lookup value. That'll be, I select cell A4, or you can also just type in A4. Depends. It'll highlight it to show you which one you chose. Table array. So here I want, the title of my column is budget. So I'm going to want to use a table array for my budget sheet. So I will go to my budget sheet, and then I will select the entire table. And what you have to remember with VLOOKUP is that the left column, which is your first column that you're selecting, has to be your lookup value. So what you used in the prior sheet as your lookup value. And as we said, store number is going to be our lookup value. I'm going to select all this. And then a big thing in Excel is that you have to do an absolute reference when you select your table arrays, because absolute reference will mean that no matter when if I change a cell on the formula, it is always going to pull from cell A4 to cell B23. And to do that, you put $ signs before the column and row number, Or if you want to save time, you could do F4, and that will automatically set you up with absolute values. So next is the column index. So in the budget spreadsheet, what column is where you want to pull the information that you want to pull? And that would be from the second column, because the first column is your lookup value. So we'll go to, and then range lookup. This will be, if you want an exact match, which almost 100% of the times you do, you will use false. Oh, and looks like it gave me a weird one, but Excel will fix it if it's a simple. It had too many parentheses. So pretty much budget for store number 201 is 50,000. Let's see. Just verify real quick. Budget store 201 is 50,000, and that's correct. So what you do next is you want to get the budget for the rest of the stores. All you have to do is highlight the first cell, which was the one where you actually used the Vlookup function and created the Vlookup function, and double click that bottom right hand corner, which is a little square, and then it'll automatically drag it down. So pretty much instantly looked up the values of the second column of the budget. So again, remember that we increased our store numbers, so I'll show you how easy that is. And it pretty much, the more data you have, the more wonderful this would be. So I'll do the same thing. I clicked here and then double click on the bottom right hand corner. It's just a highlighted little square there. Calculated that. So pretty much you have your whole budget for all your stores in the first sheet. And then we are going to get the sum of all this. So we select that. So budgeted expenses for all our stores is 1.47 million. And an easy way to get the sum at the bottom of a column would be all equals. That'll save you tons of time in the future. So second, we want to fill our actual column. So same thing, we're going to use a VLOOKUP function, and I type in VL, then I can already use tab. Then we are going to use the same lookup value. Again, you can type in the cell. So A4, comma, table array. We are going to go to our actual expenses sheet, which is a different sheet. And I'm going to highlight cell A4 to B23. And then make it absolute reference. Again, I am showing you the long way, but F4 on each one will set this up. Comma, column index. I want the second column because the first column is, again, my lookup value. And then false, because I want an exact match. I want the exact store number. So here we have it. We have our actual dollar expense amount. And if you notice, it looks different. So what you are going to do is you're going to highlight that column. And then I like to use the column, which is the comma style, which is the accounting format. Another shortcut would be Alt-HK, and that'll change your select cells to the comma style. Okay, so now I want to get the difference. So I want to do equals, and then I am going to use my directional keys. So I'm going to use my left key to go to cell B4, and then I am going to minus, and then go use my directional keys again to select cell C4, and that is going to give me my difference. So, you know what? It's actually different. C4 minus B4. So we were $15,000 under budget. Again, select that little bottom right hand corner, and we will go ahead and bring that all the way down. So now what I can do is, from the first one where it added up, I'm going to drag it to the right so that I can do the same for the other columns, and that way you see I don't have to type in the formula again. So I'm going to highlight this because this is an important part of this report. This is pretty much what this report is telling me. So we were $100,000 under budget for the year 2017, which is a good thing, and we were able to easily calculate this for all our stores, and then we can look into detail which store was the most under budget and which store was the most over budget. But pretty much this is how you use the Vlookup function, and feel free to send us an email and ask if you have any questions regarding the Vlookup function. We would be glad to respond and help you with that.